Guru is like Krishna's team, saving, helping us uplift ourselves, realize him. So Guru is one, but also there are many parts and helpers. What Vinay Krishna Guru does is called Vartma Pradarshika Guru. Someone who shows you to the path and says, oh, this is how you go on the path. And that's a very important part of the process. And actually that's something I was thinking about talking last night. How important that is, kind of like the missing link. And our Gurudev would say that he wanted his followers, his disciples, to help others by showing them the path. And how do we do that? We have to be on the path ourselves. So we're out on the pathway, right? And we're trying to walk on the path by chanting, by practicing the mantra and helping others. So this is a very important service. We're very excited to be embarking on this journey together of serving our Gurudev. Lord Ram had to build a bridge to go to Lanka. You've heard the story of Lord Ram? All right. Got some stories to tell. Over time, okay? Over time.
Could I sit down?
No.
You want to stay here?
Sit down. You have a lot of interesting stories. But Ram built a bridge. But who built the bridge? All of his army of all these, actually, Vanaras. They were like half divine, but monkeys, basically, right? Very interesting story. The point is that Ram, or God, built the bridge. Or did he? Yes, it was Ram, but it was all of his family, all of his associates, all of his helpers. So Guru is a whole family. That's why we're part of a lineage. It said a Guru with no Guru is no Guru at all. That's one of the signs of a false Guru. Oh, I know everything and I'm God and I'll teach you that you're God. Who is your Guru? Who needs a Guru anyway? I am your Guru. So, anyway, we're going to do a little quick favorite song our Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada would sing before starting his class. And I'm going to speak a little bit about Lord Brahma, the original Guru in our line, who's actually also what we call the secondary creator. He is the first son of the Lord, manifested from the Lord himself, Lord Brahma. Have you heard of Lord Brahma? Okay. So he created everything that we see. All the ingredients were present, and by the power of his meditation, austerity, hearing the mantra from Krishna, then he had the power to create. So everything that we have, all these ingredients and everything that was created in this world was originally from Lord Brahma. So we're going to tell about his story and the spiritual path as we learn from him, and what was his final aspiration. So you imagine, it's a very interesting story. We'll tell you these stories. Lord Brahma, who created the universe, how? By the desire of the original creator, right? Like, for example, in a city, someone got the job to create this stadium, right? But where did the ingredients come from, and who gave him the service? The architects, the engineers. So Brahma is like the architect, the engineer, but who gave him the ingredients, who gave him the design, who gave him the instruction? That's the ultimate creator. So it's an interesting conception, but I'm going to tell a few stories from Brahma's journey all the way to his final destination, where he prayed. There's a very beautiful prayer. He says, I want to become a stone in Vrindavan where Krishna plays, and in the evening time, after everyone comes home from grazing the cows, I want to be that stone that they all clean their feet on. He said especially those ladies who clean the pathways, and then in the end of the day, the ladies will go and clean their feet on a stone. And Lord Brahma, the creator, said, I want to become that stone. Wow. What led him to that conclusion? So we're going to tell a few stories. What led that creator? Imagine you're the creator of the universe. You probably think, oh, you just be sitting back and having people praise you, right? And he has his own realm where he's Lord Brahma. He's not an ordinary being, right? But yet he desired that position. Why? Why did he desire that position? He said that for 60,000 celestial years, not our human years, for 60,000 years he meditated. Okay, you can imagine. In his time, 60,000 years is for us like 60 billion years, 60 trillion years. It's a long time. He said he meditated on the glories of Sri Radha. And he still couldn't understand it. It was too much. Blew his four minds. He has four heads. Blew his four minds. Four brains. Four heads. If you see a picture of Lord Brahma, he has four heads. Sasti Varsa Sahasrani. For 60,000 celestial years, he meditated on the glories of Srimati Radhika, Krishna's beloved, the feminine counterpart, the divine couple, Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. He meditated on her glories, and he still couldn't fully comprehend it. So he said, let me go to Vrindavan. So he went to Vrindavan, and he prayed, let me become like some hill or some stone where Radharani lives, and so that all the dust from her feet come onto my body, because that dust is so auspicious. It's a mood of humility, right? How glorious is that divine love? We talk about divine love. Everyone likes love, right? Love. Turn on the radio, everyone's talking about love. Right? Watch a movie, it's mostly all about love, right? What is the source of that love? Our Guru, they would say, we do not seek Krishna. We seek pure love of Krishna. Who possesses that pure love? So you're asking about Guru, right? Who is Krishna's Guru? Do you know? Oh, God has a Guru? Is that possible? Radhe, God has a Guru? Krishna has a Guru? Who is Krishna's Guru? Oh. She's like, knows all the answers to all the tests. There's a verse. Radhikara prema guru ami shishyanat sada amanache nritya. Krishna said, Shrimati Radhika and her love, that is my guru. I am her dancing disciple. So what is the power of Shrimati Radhika's love? That Krishna is dancing and learning from her. This comes from a story. One time, Krishna, Shrimati Radhika's very close friend, Vrinda, came to Radharani, and Radharani said, where have you come from? He said, I came from Radha Kund. This is Shrimati Radhika's lake. What were you doing there? I went there on my business and I saw this beautiful boy, Krishna, was dancing. Who is the greatest dancer in the universe? Greatest dancer in the world? Krishna? Krishna is a very great dancer. Lord Shiva is called Nataraj, greatest dancer. But he learned from Krishna. And Krishna learns from Srimati Radhika, but not directly. How? Vrinda Devi said that near that lake, all the creepers were blowing in the breeze and dancing in beautiful ways. And Krishna was dancing and learning from them. How was he learning from the creepers? And so Radharani asked Vrinda, how is he learning? Vrinda said, in every branch, leaf, creeper, bird, he sees your love, your reflection everywhere. Your love is present, and he is learning from that love, and he is dancing. So Lord Brahma, who has had a very big position in this world, went to Vrindavan and took shelter of Srimati Radhika. So what is the glory of Srimati Radhika? I was in England and we were giving a talk, and I asked, we had some new students, and I said, do you know who Krishna is? They said, yes, I know Krishna. I said, do you know who Radha is? They said, who's that? And I said, who is teaching you? Krishna without Radha is incomplete. That's not God. Our Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said on Radhastami, he said, anyone who tries to say God is just masculine, just man, it's incomplete conception. It's called impotent, impersonal, therefore they think God has no form, no features, no qualities, no name, nothing. Why? Because they don't understand the principle of divine potency, Srimati Radhika. So our Gurudev taught us to take shelter of Srimati Radhika, then we can understand Krishna. Okay? Who is Radharani? You know?
The feminine.
But what are her glories? Krishna himself wanted to discover her glories. Krishna thought, I cannot understand her. How powerful is her love? Everything that exists is an expansion of her desire to please Krishna. What is our purpose in life? To please Krishna. Why? Because we're the expansion of his pleasure potency, his pleasing. It's called pleasure potency. Why? Because her personality is simply the desire and the effort and the energy, the expansion of her endeavor to please her beloved Krishna. And so Krishna cannot fathom this and says, I will come back again. Shiradhaya Pranaya Mahima. What is the glory of her love? I want to understand that. And I want to distribute that. Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Prachad. I want to distribute that path of divine love, spontaneous love, that comes from the wealth of her heart and her associates. So all the gurus in our line, guru is someone you have to find, like we talked about last night. Everyone has a different taste, preference, right? We talked about it. Who likes what kind of flower? So you have to find first what kind of preference you have. Then you can find a guru appropriate who can help you realize your mood, your relationship with Krishna. So there are many paths. Our path in the Lord Chaitanya's line and our gurus are specifically in the mood of being the maidservant of Srimati Radhika in their highest position. And they're always pleasing Krishna by that. And Krishna submits to them. Right? God Almighty, there's verses. I'll Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad. Krishna, the Almighty, bows down before Srimati Radhika's maidservants. There's a beautiful verse. Yat kinkarishu bahusha kaluka kuvani nityang parasya purushasya shikarta moli tasya kadarasanidhir vrishabhanujayas tat keli kunja bhavanangana marjani sham. You know what this verse means? 7:30 time. Krishna said, one time he was trying to see Srimati Radhika, but she's not so easy. She's more powerful than him. If she says no, he cannot see her. So she has her own grove, her own kunj, her own area. She said, I want to see my beloved Srimati Radhika, but her servants were standing guard, her friends. He said, you cannot enter. And so he bowed down at their feet and said, please, please, please ask her permission that I can enter. Just for a few moments. I just want to see her. For one moment I want to have her darshan. Darshan means to see, audience. And they said, no, no, no. Maybe come back in a few weeks. And so our great saint, he said, I want to become a stick and that broom that sweeps the grove where Srimati Radhika is present. So we're going to sing a song about that. And then we're going to tell the story of Lord Brahma. And quick, because it's a long story. He lives a long time. It's very interesting. Once you study the Bhagavatam, you can understand Guru is a personality, and Guru is a principle, and Guru is a connection to a disciplic succession. Right? Guru is called servant of Vyas. Vyas means what brings you from matter to spirit. That's Guru. Brings you from matter to spirit. How? Because they're part of a disciplic succession in a specific line. And there's many indications. Swami Prabhupada said, you cannot be a guru without the order of your guru. That comes through superior instruction or internal realization. And also Swami Prabhupada said, I want all my disciples, all men and women, to become gurus. So we have in our mission, Srimati Shamarani Mataji now, giving initiation. Right? Very nice, very senior lady, disciple. But we don't think in terms of male, female so much. We think soul. So we're going to talk about your divine nature also. Right? That's the topic of the class. But first we're going to sing a little bit about Jai Radha Madhava, okay? Who wants to sing? Should I sing or Braja Devi?
You sing.
Radhe? Kaylee, right? You want to sing? Yes? Manju? Okay, I'll sing. Jai Radha Madhava Sayo Kunja Vihari Jai Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopicanavala Bha Jaya Girivara Dari Jaya Girivara Dari Jaya Gopijana Valabha Jaya Girivara Dari Jaya Girivara Dari Jashodhanandana Braj Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Oh Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Bola Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Bhagiri Varadhari Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jai Jai Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jai Jai Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari 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 Alright, who's ready for a few stories? Okay? Stories? Good. I'm going to do a brief invocation as we began our discussion. Alright, so you can all meditate during this on your Atma. Have you heard of the Atma? The Atma means your spirit, your essence. Alright, so you can stretch and meditate on your Atma. We're going to tell some very important discussion stories about this nature. Okay? Anyone need some water? Anyone want some water? Yes? Okay. Let's hear. That's the water we'll drink. The nectar of hearing about Krishna. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. He Shri Guru Jnanadadhina Bandhav Svananda Dhata Karunaika Sindho Vrindavanasina Hitavatara Prasiddha Radha Pranaya Prachar Seva Kunje Braje Ramye Govardhane Giro Sada Radha Kunde Rasanande Tat Tat Seva Pradayakam Gurung Narayanakyam Tam Bande Vinoda Pristakam Yat Pada Smriti Matrena Dhamodhara Prasiddhati Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratashe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Tavevasmi Tavevasmi Najivami Taya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamam Charanantike Bola Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Bolo Shri Gurudeva Ki Jai Shri Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Samasta Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Saparshad Gaur Hari Ki Jai Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai 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 Shri Radhe Jai Jai Shri Radhe Sham. So our Gurudev here, Shri Shrimad, our Gurudev, beloved Guru Pada Padma, Shri Shrimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami, and his Gurudev, Shri Shrimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, his Shiksha Guru, and his Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual masters, his Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, whose spiritual master Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. And in this way there's an unbroken disciplic succession leading to Lord Chaitanya, incarnation of Radha Krishna, and then from them to Srimadvacharya and to Lord Brahma. And so therefore, to become a Vaishnav, which is what you're inquiring about, according to the authorized scriptural conclusions, because we're not creating any idea of our own manufactured mind. Right? We are not manufacturing this philosophy. Proper guru is acting according to Sastra, the revealed scripture, Sastra, and there are evidences, Praman. So there it's described that to become a Vaishnav, which means a servant, a beloved, or devotee of Krishna, there's a process. There are 4 bona fide lineages, Shri Brahma, Rudra, Shanaka. In our line, we're in the line of Lord Brahma, but Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, chose Lord Brahma because of his mood of devotion and service to Sri Radha and Krishna. Therefore he chose this line. So at present time, Guru Tattva is a very intricate subject matter. Anyone who helps you along the path in your spiritual life is one of your teachers. We were just reading a lecture of our Guru and he said, you can find teachers in everyday life, in unexpected places. He said you can even learn from trees how to be tolerant. You can learn from grass how to be humble. Right? You can learn from bees how to accept the essence. You can learn from a swan how to separate milk from water. Swans are famous for that. There's so many things people and personalities you can learn from. But ultimately, Guru is an associate of Krishna who brings you to that spiritual realm, who has that power. And in his line also, Guru has empowered representatives. Our Guru instructed in his time that he wanted his disciples, his sannyasis to initiate, but he said, as my postman. Gurudev said like that. Don't go beyond your station. Right? Lord Chaitanya said, always understand the difference between a liberated soul and a conditioned soul. So someone who is still in this conditioned state of life can help you progress if they're acting under guidance of the authorized representatives of Guru and Krishna. And in that way they can also take up this service or this post. Right? In our mission we have our Guru, our spiritual master in Vrindavan, India, who is directing our mission at present, who Gurudev said, I want you to carry on my mission, take care of my disciples. For us that is our Pujapad Sevaratna Prabhuji. Anyone who is interested in coming into our path, we ask permission from him. Oh, this is good or not? Ready or not? This person is ready or not? And also he will suggest the spiritual name, and then he'll have Gurudev's disciples give mantra. This is his process. So we are establishing that service, continuing in the line of our Gurudev. But we should have no doubt. Why? Because everything is according to parampara system. Parampara means Guru is not one. Guru is a lineage. Right? At a university, the professors don't just make up whatever they want and say, this is the idea of the university. No, there's a dean, there's a faculty, and there's administration of the faculty, and there's the president. So it's a very interesting discussion, but a red flag in a Guru is that they're independent of everyone and anyone. Guru will say, no, this is according to the scripture. Right? So it's a long discussion, but our original Guru is Lord Brahma. So we're going to hear about that Lord Brahma. I'll give you a few ideas about Lord Brahma. You can read the Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about this. One of his days last how long in our time? 3 billion, over 3 billion years. One of his days in our time. Yeah. Right? His lifespan, I'll tell you his lifespan in our time. This is our original Guru. It's very interesting. Our Guru, again, this is not our speculation. This is all in our authorized text. Vedic time and understanding is very long. Right? Some religions, they say the world's only 5,000 years old. Right? This is the understanding that was there. But our philosophy says the world, the existence is eternal. This present manifestation at this time is about 170 or so trillion years old. This present manifestation. Right? We're in the second half of Lord Brahma's life. And his lifespan is 311 trillion and 40 billion and 200 million or so years. Yes? Okay, good. Who has the audacity to come up with such figures, right? Vedic thought shows you the smallest, you know how the smallest amount of time it is? I'll tell you something else that'll blow your mind. The time it takes a particle of light to pass over an atom. How big is an atom? How big? How big is an atom and how fast does light go? Speed of light. One of the students, right? Radhe, what's the speed of light? I have no idea. Okay.
A big number.
A big number. Perfect answer. Okay? That amount of time it takes for a particle of light to zoom. How long? every moment of that amount of time, Krishna is appearing in another universe. At every moment until this whole universe winds up and Krishna starts the cycle again. So this is the cosmic dance of Krishna. So first you should understand what is our position in existence. Then we should understand something else, right? When he asked, "Who are you?" you said, "I am a divine creature." Yes? Manjari, you're a divine creature? Come on. Give me a smile, Manjari. You're a divine, Krishna praying, you're divine.
Oh, yes.
He knows. He's divine. Right? So we were out on the street today and everyone was going past and saying, "Wow, thank you for that beautiful smile." And people just lighting up, right? I was like, "I can tell you a prophecy. You have a beautiful smile." And then they'd smile. See? Came true. See?
It works.
You have a beautiful smile. Came true. Right? So then I said, should I tell people, "Wow, you look divine today"? I tried it. They're like, "What are you saying? You sound crazy. You look divine? You look divine today, sir." Yes? Brother Devi, you look divine. Okay? Why? It's true. There's different levels of perception. Sarisa, you look divine. Okay? There are different levels of perception. The pure devotee sees everyone as divine. And they see everyone as perfect. And then they arrange a way to help people become perfect. So they don't see the covering. "Vrindavan, you look divine today." Vrindavan always looks divine. Right? Everyone is always divine. However, there's a second part of that. I was thinking about it today just as we walked back. I said, right, don't get too high on your own supply. Don't get too puffed up. So we're going to tell some Lord Brahma stories about that also. Why? Yes, you are divine. Okay? But then why are you suffering? Sometimes I was arguing, we have a New York ashram, and someone was arguing with me for a week. They stayed with us, and for a week they were arguing with me. I said, "That's great." They said, "Finally, I found someone who can answer and is happy with me arguing with them." I said, "No problem." They were angry, and all these different ideas. And I said, "No problem. Ask all your questions." They said, "Wow, you guys are pretty cool." But then I said one thing that really switched their mentality. I said, if you're suffering so much, and you're so attached to your philosophy and your mentality, is it working for you? If it's not working, an intelligent person will try something different. I'm suffering, I'm depressed, I'm miserable, I'm not happy. So you're divine. So why are you still seeking anything? Right? So there's a process to realize our divine nature. What we are, what we are not. Okay? So we'll tell a story. So you imagine Lord Brahma at the beginning of his birth. Also, think of this. I'm just giving you some of the cosmic timescales. This universe that we are in, which is 160, 70 trillion years old, has about 160 trillion left to go until it switches it again, and there's microcycles within that. It's described to be like a bubble. Right? You see a kid, right? Right, and all these bubbles come out. How long does the bubble last? Binay can walk by and go, "Ha ha." Right? Pop the bubble. So each universe, so you can imagine now the Lord Vishnu. Okay, Lord Vishnu is resting on the causal ocean in divine, it's called Yoga Nidra, meditating on his internal pastimes as Krishna. And as he breathes, from every pore of his divine beings, the universe is manifesting. And all those universes are described to be like particles of dust. Sometimes you see a window, right? And through the window you can see particles of dust, right? You ever see that? Each of those particles of dust is described to be like a universe, flowing in and out of the pores of the Lord. And as he breathes out, everything that we see in this cosmic manifestation, known as samsara, appears. And as he breathes in, everything comes back within him. How long does that last? One breath cycle lasts approximately 311 trillion, 4 billion to 20 million years. All right? That's not my idea. Someone who says this is my idea and I am guru, say, okay, you be a guru on the street and with the bums and the beggars and the vagabonds. This is not guru. This is called Can Guru. All right. So now Lord Brahma, he appeared and he looked around and everything was dark. And he thought, where have I come from? What is my source? He began to try to travel down, see the source. He could not find it. He came back up, could not find anything. He sat down and he heard the word. What did he hear? Tapa. So how can you become divine? You are divine. The realized soul sees everyone as divine. But yet we are suffering. That means there's something wrong. There's something to be done. So therefore, the sound came, tapa. And by divine intelligence, he understood that I should perform austerity and meditation. And so he sat down and began to meditate. And then he heard the sound of a mantra, beginning with Kling. Kling is the beej, the seed of all creative potency, coming from the flute of Krishna. Krishna's playing his flute. And the sound came. Krishna sent the sound through the goddess Saraswati of all learning. And then this Gopal mantra came. And he chanted that, and through that, Krishna appeared before him and gave him 4 verses, which is the seed verses of all our scriptures. And by the power of those verses and the power of Krishna's desire, Krishna said, I want you to create. And so then, by his potency and the power of his austerity, everything began to manifest, re-manifest, right? So one time, as the cycles of creation were going on, there are different realms, right? There's this realm we're on. This is called Earth. Yes? Newsflash. Earth. Bhumandala. This is called Earth. Otherwise known as Earth. Okay. I'm not making an argument in relation to that. This is called the earthly realm. There are lower regions and higher regions, the heavenly realms, subterranean realms. The ruler of the subterranean regions and the ruler of the demigods, Indra, heard something special. It was like news was spreading throughout the universe. Right? The original viral news. Lord Brahma had made an announcement that the most powerful thing in the universe, you know what the most powerful thing in the universe is? Everyone was wondering about this. There's something very powerful. The most powerful thing. He said it's the Atman. Have you heard this word, Atma? Atma is Sanskrit for the spirit. The most powerful thing. And he said that Atma, if you can realize that, you become supremely powerful. So the ruler of the heavenly realm, demigods, and the ruler of the subterranean region, known as the Asura and Asura, thought, we need to get that weapon. We need to get that knowledge. That knowledge is power. Why? They're always fighting. Right? If you look at this world, everyone is always fighting. Why? Politics. Right? Democracy is like legalized warfare. That's democracy. Democracy means legalized warfare. Right? Fighting. So everyone was fighting. What's the reality? So they both went to Lord Brahma, who at this time was a guru, in his ashram. And they said, oh dear master, please accept us as your disciples and teach us about this Atma. What is this Atma? Yes? So he said, okay. Go, and you have to perform austerities. He said, I don't want you to look in a mirror. Okay, this is our lesson. Okay? He said, don't look in a mirror until I tell you so. How long? 32 years he didn't let them look in a mirror. Why? Because then gradually you forget your self-identification as this body. 32 years, he said, don't cut your beard, don't cut your nails, do austerity, take care of the ashram, serve the cows. They're very sattvic in the mode of goodness. They help you develop sattva gun. Then come back to me. That was his teaching. 32 years later, they came back. He said, wow, good job. Followed the test. He said, now cut your nails, shave your beard, dress very nicely. He gave them the best clothes. And then he said, then you should go to that pond where we have the ashram. In the middle of the ashram, we have a pond. And you should look in your reflection. See how you look. Right? Wow. It's hard nowadays to do austerity for a few hours, to not look at one's face, and to distribute one's face. They looked at themselves. And then they went to Lord Brahma and he said, what did you see? They said, we were very effulgent. Why? They'd been doing austerities for so long. They're very powerful. He said, that reflection you saw, that thing you saw, that is the Atma. That is the self. They're both ecstatic. Why? I am powerful. I am divine. And they began running back to their realm and thinking, okay, quickly, I'm going to tell everybody, and then I'm going to go and conquer the other guy. Virochana, not Virochana, yes, Bali, and he went back to his kingdom. Indra, the god of the demigod ruler, the king of the demigods, he was halfway back and they thought, wait a second, something's fishy. Maybe it's a test. So he went back to Brahma. And he said, if that is me, then what happens when I die? And if that is me, what happened when I had the hair and all this other stuff? Is that me? That's the self? That's the Atma? You are this body? So you are a divine creature. This is a miracle. The body is miraculous. You can do so many wonderful things with it. But you are more than that. You are different from it. You are not your body. Swami Prabhupada, first teaching. You're your body? You have a body. Every body is like a vehicle. People have different kinds of vehicles. Good car, fast car, luxurious car, different kinds of cars. So he said, I want to understand really what is the self. He said, again do austerity. So again he did austerities for many years. And then he came to Lord Brahma and Lord Brahma said, have you ever had a dream? Have you ever had a dream? Yes? Yes? He said, that thing when you are dreaming, that is the Atma. The dreamer. So Indra thought, very good. He started going back home. Thought, now I have become powerful. I have knowledge. He got a little ways away. He said, maybe it's still a trick. Still a test. So he went back and said, oh Guru, please, is there any more knowledge you can give me? He said, yes. Again do austerities. So again he did austerities. Oh. He said, I am not the body, but also I am not the mind. This is very advanced knowledge. The other ruler of the Asuras, he said the body is the self. And therefore we should enjoy with our body as much as possible. That's the purpose of life. And so he taught that everywhere. This is called demonistic culture, otherwise known as Western civilization. No offense to anybody. Okay? I am this body, let me enjoy as much as humanly possible. But we have a spiritual renaissance going on, right? Spirituality, right? We are spirit. We have a body. Let's use the body for good. Let's serve each other. Let's help. Let's serve God. Let's create a better world. But we are not just meant to enjoy in this body. What about the mind? Am I the mind? He said, when I'm in a dream, sometimes I'm being chased by a tiger. And it jumps and grabs me, and then I wake up, and I'm okay.
There is no tiger.
There was no tiger. It was just a dream. So how can I just be that? So then again he meditated, again he did austerity, and then Brahma said the Atma is beyond all of this. You cannot understand the Atma by your mind or your body. You are not that. It's So therefore, Vedic knowledge says you are not this, you are not this, you are not this, you are not this. So what are we? So Krishna says in the Gita what we are. Lord Brahma taught him this knowledge. Upanishad teaches this story. And this knowledge, the essence of all the Upanishads is in the Gita, called the Gita Upanishad. Mamai Vangso. You are part and parcel of Krishna, the absolute truth. Krishna says it. Our Swami Prabhupada would say, no one else says you are my part and parcel. Only Krishna says this. Lord Ram doesn't say, Narasingha doesn't say, all the other avatars say, and none of the demigods say. Lord Ganesh, Hanuman, no one says you are my part and parcel. But Krishna says, Hanuman comes from me, Indra comes from me, Arjuna comes from me, Brahma comes from me. Krishna says this in the Gita. 10th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, everything comes from me. Even the Brahman, Brahmano hi pratishtaham, amritasya vyatasya cha. Even that comes from me. So a lot of Hindus say, beyond the demigods, there is the impersonal spirit, the Brahman, and that is everything. But Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham, I am the source of that. So Lord Brahma said, I've understood that, my creator. I think I'm the creator, but I'm not the creator. God is the creator. He has created me. Anything I'm created, that's a subsequent creation. So Lord Brahma said, that personality, Krishna, that is the original. He is your father, mother, lover, beloved friend. Everything comes from that source. So you are part and parcel of that. Until you realize your relationship with that Supreme, you will not be fully happy. Because you are of a divine nature. Mamai Vangso, Krishna doesn't say you're not part of him. He says you are my part. You are my part. That's why you look divine. Because you are part and parcel coming from the divine source. So therefore your purpose in human life is not to enjoy your body and your senses. Your purpose in life is to realize your relationship with Krishna. No other personality says the process and who you are coming from and all the Vedic knowledge that is given, nothing can compare. And comparative analysis, if it is done, is very clear. The Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishad is the most elaborate scientific philosophy of spiritual life. Beyond any comparison. And great scholars and great thinkers have come to this conclusion. Right? Great Western philosophers like Thoreau, Emerson have said, our knowledge seems so mundane compared to the Gita and that knowledge. We seem like children playing in a sandbox. Newton, Einstein. You think these persons are great, intelligent beings? They're like children playing in a sandbox compared to this knowledge. What are we able to convey? A few things according to our language. But that knowledge is so far beyond this. So you are a divine creature, but what is your source? Krishna says, Maeva manadatsva, offer your mind to me. Mai buddhim nivesha, offer your intelligence to me. If you offer yourself to me, nivasha shashi maeva ata urdvam, I will liberate you, deliver you. Na samsaya, have no doubt. Have no doubt. In the meantime, you should live your life. Mama nusmara yuddhacha, meditating on me, do your duty in life. Fight. It's the lesson of the Gita. He says, fight, but he says, don't just fight for the sake of fighting. Meditate on God and realize your relationship with God and help others and help yourself. That is your life purpose. Try to please God and make relationship with God. Krishna said, Manmana bhava. Offer your mind and your heart to me. This is his meditation. Sarva dharman parityaja. Give up all other false religiosity. We don't follow religiosity. We follow Bhagavat Dharma, realizing our love and relationship with Krishna. We are not a religion. We are a transcendental religion, beyond mundane religion. Mundane religion means, right, have a good family, society, good culture. But what is your relationship with God? Unless you're trying to realize your relation with Krishna, this is not pure religion. Our Gurudev called it a brotherhood of thieves. This is Bhagavat Dharma. So now, I'll tell you another story. So Brahma, this is not told in this story, but Brahma likes to tell his own stories also. right? In his humility, he tells even stories of his own mistakes. So that's why I said, you are divine, but don't get too high on yourself. On your own supply, you should get high on Krishna's supply. Right? I don't know why I thought of this as an example. The point is, if you want to be blissful, you have to realize your relation with Krishna. Because Ananda, bliss, comes from Krishna. You are a particle of Ananda. But your Ananda potency becomes infinite if you offer yourself, your heart and your soul in pleasing Krishna. Right? How much can we please ourselves? Self-gratification, sense gratification is limited. But if you love and serve Krishna, He is responsible for your bliss. And His capacity to give you bliss is unlimited. Yes? How much can you make yourself happy? But if you use your limited energy in trying to please Krishna and love Krishna, then He is so appreciative, your relationship is kindled and established. And then with all of His energy, with a spark of His energy. Krishna said this whole cosmic manifestation is just a spark of my splendor. Everything beautiful you can see. Krishna gives all different examples. Everything that's beautiful, everything that's wonderful, everything that's heroic or powerful, it comes from a tiny fragment of my potency. He said, what is the need to speak of all this? Understand it's all just a tiny, tiny little spark of my splendor. The Atma is described to be more powerful than 1,000,000 suns. And yet that millions of suns of power in your being, that is your Atma, that itself is a tiny, tiny, tiny spark of the divine consciousness, Krishna. So then Brahma tells some of his stories. He said, I couldn't understand Krishna for some time. Why? Brahma said, I understand. Who does he understand? I understand Vishnu. Because Vishnu is the creator God, the maintainer God, and Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, the three devatas. And Brahma came from Vishnu. But he said, beyond Vishnu, there's someone called Krishna. This is in the Bhagavad. And where does the Bhagavad come from? The four Vedas. From the four Vedas, the Bhagavad comes, the ripened fruit. So Brahma tells his story. How can this little blue boy be God? Yeah, good question, right? You ever have this question, Vrindavan? No, because he is fully Krishna conscious. No doubt. Why? Fully Krishna conscious because he has full faith in the words of Srila Gurudev. Yes? Absolute conviction. Yes. Brahma said, I couldn't understand this little blue boy. One time, why Krishna is this very playful, charming, lampat, naughty, mischievous personality, but he is much more. Krishna spoke the Gita, and all this knowledge is there, and Bhagavatam, and to Uddhava he gave so much knowledge, but yet Brahma was observing. There's stories, okay? If you've heard of Krishna stories, he killed many demons. This witch put poison on her breast. She had the power of 10,000 elephants, and she was sent by this evil king Kamsa to kill Krishna. And Krishna, instead of being hurt by her poison on her breast, he sucked out her life air, and then she achieved liberation. One time, this massive python, which was described to be miles long, and it opened its mouth, and it looked like a cave, and all the boys with Krishna walked inside, and then Krishna followed, and it closed its mouth, and everyone thought, oh no, Krishna's died. And then Krishna expanded his energy and his heat, and then the snake died, and then a light came out from the snake. Can you imagine? A beautiful light. And then it entered Krishna's feet. And all the demigods, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, 33 million demigods were watching. What is this? This little boy who's just playing in Vrindavan, and he's defeating these demons like this, like this, like this. With his left pinky, he picked up a mountain. Giriraj. For 7 days he held this mountain with not even one drop of sweat. Why? Radharani's power. So he had no perspiration. Why? If he was doing it himself, he would be sweating. Our Gurudev said Radharani was holding him up. Why? Left side, left pinky, this is Radharani's power. Krishna did all these miracles, and the demigods were watching. In the spirit, the astral realm, in the spirit realm, right? This is Krishna's pastimes on earth. So Brahma said, I was hearing everyone talk about this Krishna. Who is this Krishna? I wanted to come and see for myself. So he came, And he saw from his heavenly airplane, Krishna was with his friends, and he was wrestling with them, boys. And sometimes his friends would beat him in the wrestling match and say, I have won. And he thought, I have heard that this Krishna is Narayan, he is God, and yet he is being defeated by the other boys. And Krishna said, my nose is up, so I've won. If anyone's been in the pin match, right? Wrestling, whoever's been pinned down, they've lost. But Krishna said, no, I am looking up, you're looking down, I have won. How is this God? He was eating from the hands of his friends, taking remnants. In Vedic culture, this is not proper. And he was eating with his left hand. And he had this rice and yogurt in his hand. He was eating and running through the forest and playing his flute. This is God? This is God? So the Bhagavad tells this story, our most important scripture. Brahma thought, how is this possible? I need to give a test. Right? He who is being tested gives a test to others. That means when we think, oh, I will test this person, I will test this person, I will test this person. Right? How many fingers are pointing back? 3, 6? Many, 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 many. Oh. Right? So Brahma said, let me test him. So one day Krishna was sitting with his friends. Long story. It's a long story. Brahma kidnapped all of his friends and all of his cows, his calves, and he hid them in a cave while Krishna was absent. There's a whole story around it. We're telling it in brief. Kidnapped all of Krishna's friends. He said, let me see if this is God or not. What do you think Krishna's going to do? What's Krishna going to do? You have any idea? So, Krishna looked around. Krishna went looking for his calves. And in the meantime, they kidnapped all the boys. Right? So Krishna thought, my son, right? I'm God. My little jiva is trying to test me. Okay, let's play a game with him. So Krishna, in a moment, manifested all of his friends and all the cows and calves from his own potency. In a moment. Exactly as they were, same clothes, same look, same style, same manner. Great yogis, they can manifest, replicate their body, right? Like Vrindavan. Can become 8, 10, 15, and it's like distributing books in 10 places at once. But it's limited, and they're all like carbon copies, you know? Right? Great yogis can do this. But Krishna manifested millions of cows and millions of boys, and they were all
individual.
Perfectly spontaneous individual in their behavior. And then Krishna went home to his mother and father. And in the meantime, so this is how the story goes, Brahma thought, okay, I've done this activity, now I'm going to go home to my realm. This is called Satyaloka. Brahma's abode, Brahma the creator God. But he knows from Vishnu, right? There's a whole story. He went home, and yet the concierge, how do you say it? Concierge said, no entrance.
The
Gatekeeper, buzzer didn't work. Nothing worked. He said, no, you're not allowed in. So he had a very powerful, beautiful realm. They said, you cannot come in. He said, why? The real Brahma just came a few minutes ago, and he said, when the fake Brahma comes, don't let him in. What is this? Krishna playing games with him? Right? So he thought, I better go back to Vrindavan and see what happens. So he came back to Vrindavan, and this time, a whole year had passed, because the time relative, right, in his dimension and Vrindavan on this earth, there's difference, right, the time. Whole year had passed. For that whole year, Krishna had been expanded as all the boys, all the cows, all the calves. So Brahma came and he saw, wait a second. Nothing's happened. They're all here. Did Krishna find them and bring them back? And so he looked with two heads this way in the cave with his power of his vision. And he saw everyone's there sleeping. He put them all in slumber, divine slumber. And then in the other heads he saw, oh, they're all playing with Krishna. What has happened? And then he went closer to Krishna. He thought, maybe he has some power. Maybe he is God. And then all of a sudden he saw every boy and every cow was like Vishnu. He thought, oh, my Vishnu? Now he could recognize, I came from Vishnu, from the stem of Vishnu's navel, lotus, divine cosmic lotus, Brahma appeared. He said, oh, my father, Krishna manifested millions of my fathers like this. He thought Vishnu is Bhagavan, but Bhagavatam says, Ete changsa kala pungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. It's the Bhagavat Puran. And the Gita, this is Sastra, said Krishna is the supreme, and his expansions, Angsa, Vibhinangsa, that is the Jiva Vibhinangsa, but his Kala, right, his direct expansions, that is Vishnu, and then Brahma, then Mahesh, all the demigods, all the so forth. Krishna like that, just manifested thousands and millions of them. I thought, oh, this Krishna must be Bhagavan. This Krishna must be Bhagavan. One time, I'll tell you one more interesting story. Why we should be humble. We are divine, but we should also be humble. It's a very interesting story. Let there be light. Yes, here we go. All right, ready for one more story? Is that an interesting story?
Yeah, it is.
I'll tell you one secret about that story. Whatever Krishna does has many reasons. He wanted to humble Brahma and teach him that he's really God, but then even more sweetly, all the gopis, all the cowherd girls, the damsels, they all loved Krishna and wanted Krishna to be their husband. They all wanted Krishna to be their beloved. But Krishna is one and there are millions. How is it possible? So Krishna said, I will fulfill their desire. For this 1 year, I will become all the other boys. And then immediately after that happened, then Purnamasi, the guru in Vrindavan, said, everyone should get their daughters married right now. And so for that 1 year, they all married Krishna. And for 1 year, Krishna was with all of them directly. So it's very sweet. Also, all the mothers wanted Krishna as their son, and all the cows wanted Krishna as their calf. So it's a very sweet story. One more story about Brahma, and then we'll talk about Brahma and taking shelter of Radharani. One time, Krishna was in Dwarka. Dwarka. Yes? And he sent a messenger to say, I want to see Lord Brahma. Okay? I want to see Lord Brahma. He summoned him. So Brahma said, oh yes, he is Krishna. Krishna is God. I just had that thing happen and definitely. Okay? So I should go see him. So he went, dressed up very nice. Krishna is calling me. Right? Krishna manifesting in this earthly realm. He is calling me. I will go see him. And he came to the palace of Dwarka and said, Lord Brahma has come. Krishna has called me. I have come to see Krishna. And the gatekeeper said, okay, thank you very much. Just give your name and sign in here. No, I'm Lord Brahma. Yes, but specifically, which Brahma? What do you mean, which Brahma? I am Chaturmukh. I am four-headed Brahma. Brahma tells his own stories. That's why we can tell these stories like this. He likes us to know who is Krishna, who is Brahma, who are we? Right? If Brahma is so great and he is teaching us this, then who are we? We are a speck of a speck, but we are divine's particle. We are the God particle, but we are servant of God. We are divine, but we are part and parcel of Krishna. So Brahma said, I want to see Krishna. You summoned me. The gatekeeper said, which Brahma? Four-headed Brahma? So to say, okay, I'll go and ask. They left. He was waiting. You know, sometimes you're waiting in a room. It's like, geez, Krishna must be busy today. I thought he was just playing and with his family and friends. So then the attendant came back and said, okay, Krishna will see you now. Krishna will see you now. And this time Krishna was living in Dwarka. It's a royal palace outside of Vrindavan. He was living more like a great prince, great king. So Brahma had to go through a long corridor. In South India we have some temples. Very long corridors, long way to get to see Krishna. Sri Rangam. There's 7 circles of the city. The whole temple is like a city, and you go through it, and it takes hours. Tirupati, hours, and then you get to see Krishna for like 20, 30 seconds, and they say, go on, go on, go on. So Brahma was waiting to see Krishna, and as he went through a long corridor, and he came to a beautiful assembly hall, and he started hearing some noise, right, like cymbals, like a beautiful symphony of. Like sometimes you have different bells and different tones and like thousands and millions of them. He couldn't understand. It was the first time he ever heard something like that. Like millions of beautiful bells and cymbals were ringing. And then as he approached, the attendants opened these beautiful doors. Okay, you can imagine this scene. He's walking through the corridor and he's hearing this beautiful, strange symphony of sounds. And the doors open. And it's like he's walking into like you imagine this kind of universal display of splendor that you have a hard time even comprehending the magnitude of it. And he sees thousands and thousands of Brahmas like him, but there's one difference. They're all greater than him. He has 4 heads, some have 10. Then he sees one with 20, then 64, then 1,000, then 10,000, then 1,000,000. And they're all bowing their crowns at the feet of Krishna. And this is making all the music. And then he sees some part open, and with great humility he walks forward. He's the biggest big shot in this universe. But he saw representatives of every universe. You ever heard of the multiverse? Right? Where does that come from? It comes from Krishna. Right? Krishna. All the unlimited universes. Universes are described. Imagine this room we're in. Imagine this room filled with mustard seeds. Right? Golden mustard seeds. Imagine how many golden mustard seeds would fill this room. Who's a math whiz? Radhe? Manjari, math whiz. Indra, Bandhav, Krishna Prem. All right?
150 trillion.
Perfect. That's the right number. Rupa Raghunath Prabhu. So he thought, I'm very small. All these universes are there. I'm very small. So he approached Krishna, offered obeisance, and Krishna said, don't need to offer obeisance to me. I just want to see how you're doing. How's everything going in the universe? Everything's okay? Right? I'm here in this. You are the Brahma of this world. But I had a Zoom meeting. Right? I had a meeting. All the other Brahmas had to come and see me. They had some questions, and we're having our annual Brahma seminar. All the representatives of all the universes coming together for discussion. Brahma thought, I'm very small. And he said, everything's okay? Any points to address? He said, where do I start? This world is full of problems. Where do I start? Full of problems, problems, problems. We think we have problems, right? We have problems. I have problems. You have problems. You ever have problems in your life? Imagine Lord Brahma, who runs the whole universe. Imagine how many problems he has. Oof, middle management. You know why Krishna has many demigods and many other gods? So that he's not involved in management. No management. That's Krishna, right? Right? See, Krishna Prem agrees. Krishna Prem. Who wants to be involved in middle management of the whole universe? So Krishna has arranged Lord Brahma. He has this service. But Krishna told Brahma, when Brahma appeared and meditated and saw Krishna, Krishna told him, you shouldn't get too caught up in the game of this world. This is the lesson for us. He said, don't get too caught up in this game. This is a game we're playing. I will be a creator, and I will manifest things, and I'll be in charge, and I'll have my family, and I'll do this and all that. He said, okay, no problem. This is your sojourn, this is your spiritual journey, but don't get too caught up in that illusion. Reality is, your nature is spiritual and divine, therefore you're meant to live in a divine state of being. That's your purpose. So here, this is us playing a game. We're playing the game called I am this body. This is my name. This is my family. This is my home. This is my Vancouver. How long has Vancouver been existing? How long has Canada been existing? See? Good. All right. What about before that? First Nation, right? And we took it over and gave a new name. Yeah? And then someone else is going to take it over and give it a new name. And until the whole game winds up, and then it starts again. So Krishna told Brahma, don't forget your real purpose in life. Your real purpose in life is to realize your nature in relationship to me in the spiritual world. When Lord Brahma was first meditating, it was darkness everywhere. And then it was like a light opened up to a spiritual realm. And Krishna came through and said, come to me. He said, no, I want to create. So okay, go ahead, create. But in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful aphorism. Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas. It's a beautiful verse, first verse of the Bhagavatam. Everything is there. Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas charteshva vigyasvaran tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muyanti yatsuraya. Brahma is the original creator poet, Kavi. Krishna said, everything is manifesting from me. Janma adi asya. All creation, all maintenance, everything. But yet, Surya, all the demigods are bewildered even by this. What to speak of us? Why the Absolute is so wonderful, so miraculous that even our mind cannot comprehend it. Therefore we take shelter and we surrender to those who have higher knowledge and who can give us a glimpse of that and who can lead us towards it. How? How are you going to see Krishna? Through hearing about Krishna, you are seeing Krishna right now. Why? Krishna's name is one. So we hear Krishna's name, then we see Krishna through the power of his name. Krishna! By the power of his name, but we have to purify that name through our process. Therefore the soul is described to be encaged and covered by false illusory conception of life. And how do we cleanse that? It's described, we have to cleanse the mirror of the heart to realize our true nature. How do we do that? Together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Our gurus say we should chant this mantra. We chant it together in Kirtan, we chant it on Japamala. Our gurus say first try to chant one round, right? 6-7 minutes, loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. This name is so sweet and so auspicious, but why don't we taste its sweetness? Because we are covered with ignorance. So there's no sin in the soul, but there's avidya, ignorance. The soul is pure. Sin is material, karma, it's a covering. Prahlad Maharaj said the soul has no sin. Atma nitya shuddha, the soul is always pure. But yet we have this covering of ignorance, and then that leads to pap. How do we transcend that sin? By two methods, Gyan and Bhakti. This is Bhagavad Gita. 4th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, by the process of Gyan, divine knowledge, it's like a torchlight that burns through all karma. That's one process. But Krishna says the much sweeter process is through the torchlight of love. So our process is the process of love. By our own effort, our Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj would say we are not entering the Justice Department. We don't go to the Justice Department downtown. We go for the Welfare Department, Mercy Department. Right? Oh Krishna. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dheena Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Krishna, you are the ocean of mercy. I am your part and parcel, but why am I here? That's spiritual life. Spiritual life doesn't mean to be happy in this world. Spiritual life means to be happy in Krishna's world. And Krishna's world, by chanting Krishna's name, Vrindavan. You can go to Vrindavan in this life. And you can be in Vrindavan here. Why? Wherever there's Krishna's devotees, Krishna is present. Wherever the Krishna's names are being sung, Krishna is present. So you can be in Vrindavan here and now. So you can be liberated in this life. You want to be liberated in this life? Iha yasya harer dasya. This is an important teaching Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj said. You can only chant the pure name of Krishna when you develop the loving service tendency. Therefore, to love is to serve. And to serve is to love. The action of love is service. So he says, Iha yasya, he says to serve, then you can chant the pure name. And the scripture says, Iha yasya harer dasya karmana manasa gira. When you engage your body, your mind, your speech, all these things that Krishna has given you, you have your body, you have your mind, you have your sense, you have your energy. If you engage this in love, in bhakti, then you also become liberated even in this body. Jivan mukta sauchyate. You are liberated right now if you continue. Swami Prabhupada would say, someone who is properly engaged in devotional service, bhakti, they are liberated in the present moment. Why? Their present is liberation, their future is liberation. So therefore, for the devotee, birth and death is the same. They're always liberated. Anyone who has Krishna bhakti, who is coming in contact with Krishna devotees, Prahlad Maharaj said in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, if anyone is a beginning level devotee, right? You can chant Hare Krishna. Say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Someone like you, 7 generations of your family, backwards and forward, is all liberated. Hare Krishna. How powerful. Right? Ek Krishna Nam Kore Sarva Papa Nas. Chanting Krishna's name once, all sin is removed. And there is no sin on your soul, but all those obstacles in your spiritual progress, gone. But yet, why don't we love Krishna? There's some anartha, some problem. So we have to follow a process. 64 limbs of bhakti, pratamam guru padashrai, tasmat Krishna dikshari shikshanam, and so forth. We can discuss it further. But I want to tell one story about the Lord Brahma taking shelter and coming to Vrindavan. Alright, this is all told in our Puran Katha. So, it takes some time to understand Krishna is God, right? And then it takes some time to think that he is beyond God, he's just your best friend, or your son, or your beloved. This is Braj Bhakti. Braj Bhakti means Krishna is not God. Our Gurudev came and said something very strange to people. He said, I am serving Swami Prabhupada by his instruction, helping teach people about Bhakti, helping take care of his disciples. He came and taught you. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And this is the truth according to Tattva. According to Rasa, or relationship, I have come to teach you that he is not. He's not. He's beyond that. Right? In math, right, for all our math aces. First you learn numbers, arithmetic, multiplication, subtraction, division. And then you come to learn something called imaginary numbers. You think, what? There's many levels of math, many levels of education. So our Gurudev said you should realize Krishna as your best friend, if that is your rasa relationship, or as your beloved, if that is your mood, or even as your son, if that is your mood, like Madhya Yashoda. Yesterday we told stories of Madhya Yashoda. Right? She's just feeding her beloved Krishna with her breast milk. She doesn't think you're God. She says, open your mouth. Did you eat dirt? And he opens his mouth and she sees the whole universe in his mouth. But she doesn't think he's God. She thinks, oh no, some ghosts have possessed him. And she called some Brahmins and they put cow urine on Krishna. So she said, Krishna, little boy Krishna, you imagine, little Krishna running around. And he was playing with his friends and he ate some dirt. And all the boys went and told mom, hey mom, your son is eating dirt. Sometimes he's stealing butter, but now he's gone even lower. Before he was a butter thief, now he's a dirt eater. Eating dirt? So Madhya Yashoda came and said, did you eat dirt? Did you eat dirt? No. Did you eat dirt?
No.
Open your mouth and prove it. She saw all the universes. And then she saw this little solar system. And then she saw the little earth. And then she saw India. And then in India she saw Vrindavan. And then in Vrindavan she saw herself. Looking in Krishna's mouth. And then she went, woof. He said, oh, there must be some spirits possessing him. Oh, Brahmins, come and bring your best cow urine. And bathe him to get rid of this ghost. Right? So her mood is, oh Krishna, you are my son. One time, Krishna lifted big Giriraj. You've heard of Giriraj? He lifted a mountain. There's a beautiful story. You'll hear it another time. So many stories, right? Krishna lifted Giriraj. This demigod Indra was trying to destroy Vrindavan because Krishna stopped his worship. Indra, he's the god of thunder, right? Vedic Thor. That's how you can think of Indra. Vedic Thor. Controlling the thunder and rain. And one time Krishna stopped his worship. He said, worship me. I'm the source of Indra anyway. He said, worship Giriraj actually. Long story. But when this Indra, the god of thunder and rain, tried to destroy Vrindavan with torrential downpours, Krishna lifted Giriraj for 7 days and nights without any problem coming to him. And then Indra himself came and asked forgiveness. It was this whole long thing. And so then some of the other residents in Vrindavan went to tell Nanda Baba, Krishna, I think he might be God. And you should offer him proper respect and never chastise him. Sometime Nanda Baba chastises Krishna. He said, don't chastise him, he's God. And Nanda Baba just started laughing. Laughed so hard that he fell off his seat. And then everyone else started laughing. Nanda Baba said, Krishna is God. It's possible. Whenever there's a storm and some thunder, Krishna comes and runs and jumps in our bed. And he holds Mother Yashoda and me. He said, protect me, protect me. Please protect me. He said, how can that Krishna is afraid with a little lightning come? Krishna is, he can't even get up out of the bed. He can't even take care of himself. So beyond that Godhead, there's the sweet personality of Krishna. Sweetness personified. Why is he so sweet? Because of the sweetness of his associates, his parents, his friends, and ultimately, his beloved Srimati Radhika. So you have to learn about Srimati Radhika. If you want to know why Krishna is so sweet, you have to learn about Shri Radha. So our Gurudev would say before his prayers, I said this prayer in the invocation. Vrindavan, you can say with me, okay, ready? Tavevasmi, tavevasmi, najivami taya vina, iti vigyaya radhe tvam, nayamam charanantike. Our Gurudev would say this before every class. He didn't say this to Krishna, he said this to Shri Radha. Why? Because as I told you, Krishna's guru is Radha. Radhikara prema guru. Her love is his guru. Right? So our Gurudev would say, Oh Radhe, I am yours. I am yours. I cannot live without you. This is Krishna's mood, but also this is our mood. Right? Raghunath Das Swami, our Gurudev would pray with this, but Krishna also has this mood. Krishna said, Oh Radhe, smara galla kandanam, mama sirasi mandanam, dehi pada pallavam udharam. I am offering my head at your lotus feet. Please give me your shelter. This conception is called Gaudiya in the line of Lord Chaitanya. It's a very strange conception. It's not a general conception. But Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, appeared to give this conception. He said, love is the highest thing. And that's Srimati Radhika. That is ultimately the guide. So our gurus in our line are those in the line of Srimati Radhika. Our Gurudevs would say, my parampara is Sri Radha, Sri Lalita Devi, and Sri Rupa Manjari. Gurudev said, that is my parampara. Srimati Radhika, Lalita Devi, Sri Rupa Manjari, and then there's the Brahma Sampradaya. He's part of both. So he said, I offer pranam there. I pray for her to accept me. Why? Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara. Oh Krishna, if I were to pray to you, I say, Oh Krishna, Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Smera Hasa Murali Manohara Radhika Rasikamang Kripanidhi Swapriya Charanam Kinkarim Kuru. Oh Radhe. No, oh Krishna, please give me the service of your beloved Srimati Radhika. Why? Krishna nama ghane bhai Radhika charane pai Radha nam ghane Krishna Chandra Shangshepe kahino kato guchao manera vyata dhukamoy hoyanta shesh. If you want to be free of all suffering, who wants to be happy in this room? Right? 2 hands. I want to be happy. Haribo. How to be happy? Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, very easy. Very easy to be happy. Right? Radha knows what the answer is, because her name is the answer. Right? The answer is, take shelter, Srimati Radhika. That's the answer. Why? Krishna Naam Gane by chanting Krishna Krishna, Shri Radha is pleased. By chanting Radhe Radhe, Krishna is pleased. Therefore we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare is also the name of all the expansions of Srimati Radhika, all her Astasakis, all the Manjaris, all her Sakis. So we chant this name, and this is service and pleasing to Srimati Radhika and to Krishna. And by doing this, Shangshepi in essence, right? Because there's so much philosophy. If you want to sit here and you have time, we can talk for a few months without stopping. Just enough time to take a drink and if you need a nap. But really, we could sit here and talk for months. And then we could read the Bhagavatam and read the Purana and read the Gita. We could talk for months. And we wouldn't be, just barely be starting. So there's so much knowledge to learn. But you know what? You know what our Lord Chaitanya said? No need. First, chant. By chanting, in due course, you absorb all the knowledge very easily. Everyone you meet, Everywhere you go, you look, oh, this reminds me of Krishna, and then you'll hear something, and you hear from someone. The power of the mantra is very important. So Shangshepu, in essence, you chant this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. That's it. Mahaprabhu took initiation from Ishvara Puripad, and he said, Murka tumi tomar nahi ko vedanta adhikar. You don't need to study. You just take shelter of this mantra and chant this mantra, you'll realize everything. Then you'll learn. When you hear, you'll absorb it. And you'll realize it, which is much better than hearing it. You'll hear, which is the most important thing, but then you'll realize. So Lord Brahma prayed, oh, that Radharani, Krishna is telling me, take shelter of her. He recognized her glories. He saw Krishna taking shelter of Srimati Radhika. He thought, who is that personality that Krishna is always himself completely devoted to? There's a verse in the Bhagavatam, Anaya Radhita Nunam. Krishna is himself endeavoring to please Srimati Radhika. So Brahma then began to meditate. Sasti Varsa Sahasrani. For 60,000 years he began to meditate on the glories of Radharani. 60,000 years. At the end of it all, he thought, let me find a way to take that dust from her lotus feet on my head. Then my life will be successful. Kita janma ho jatatu adas. Bahirmukha Brahma janma nahi as. I don't want to be Brahma, averse to you. I'd rather be very small, like a worm, but with love for you. How can I have love? How can you love Krishna without the power of his beloved Srimati Radhika? She is a personification of love. Mahabhava Swarupatam Shri Radha Thakurani. She is the embodiment of all that love that is in your heart, that comes from her, but it's also your nature. Your particle of consciousness is also connected to Ananda, the bliss potency, that is Srimati Radhika, or love personified. So you take shelter of that love, you worship that Srimati Radhika, then automatically Krishna is with you, running behind you. We're yogis. Great yogis meditate for thousands of years on Paramatma, the super soul, and they still can't realize. But Krishna, they are chasing Krishna, and Krishna is chasing anyone who is taking shelter of the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika. Radhika dhasi jadi hoya biman shigra milai tava gokulakan. This is our Gurudev's teaching. You want to find Krishna? You want to find Krishna? Where is Krishna? You want to see Krishna? Develop that pride. I am the servant of Srimati Radhika. This is our philosophy. I am the servant of Srimati Radhika. Sigrai, very quickly, Krishna will become yours. This is our teaching of our Guru Maharaj. So Lord Brahma appeared, and he took on one form, like these beautiful range of these four hills. Bangar, Dangar, Mangar, Vilasgar, where Radhika would play as a girl, as a baby. And she would play there, and all the dust from her lotus feet would come to her head. So this is so many ideas, right? For those who are devotees, to hear about Krishna is supremely uplifting. There's a beautiful verse, Atma Ramas Chamuniyo. Even those who are liberated relish hearing about Krishna. So that's why devotees, we love hearing these things again and again. And those who are new, we're hearing it for the first time. Those who are devotees, it's like we can drink it again and again and again. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhura Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. We can hear it again and again, and we still want to hear more. Okay, so we'll end with a little stand up and kirtan. Okay? Go Brahmanande Hari Hari Bo. Jai Shri Gurudeva Ki. Jai.